first time I've seen it today, I thought it was an excellent piece of theatre of itself. I thought it was a really powerful message about the benefits, but also the challenges of self-directed support. And I thought a really quite interesting exchange between somebody who wants to take charge of their life and a carer who, for reasons I completely understand, was really worried about that.
I spoke to my colleagues in the culture department of the county council, and with them came and spoke to people at the Royal Derngate to find out, could we actually produce a play that totally involved our social care customers in Northamptonshire, to produce a piece of theatre that told the message about self-directed support, but from the point of view of our customers.
This is your bus. It can take you anywhere on the island. We could go to the beach, yeah, because they got slopes that go right down to the seashore.
This has involved me learning a lot more about SDS. And just being able to bring myself forward and putting out my views as well, and just saying what my dreams are and learning more about how I can get around them.
I'm here for my first annual review, just to make sure I'm keeping the old demons at bay. I got very depressed when Paul Leonard died, but luckily my lovely GP pointed me in the direction of SDS.
My role within the project as a whole actually started a year ago, where we did a lot of research with Adult Social Services and found out all about self-directed support. I then co-led a series of workshops with Al Holloway with customers all over the county from a range of different areas of adult social care, and have then been involved obviously in the development of the script and directing the play.
I heard about SDS from my social worker, and what I want, well, I'm not sure what I want, but a cup of tea would be nice.
I think what's great about it is that it introduces an important subject, and obviously for a lot of groups in Northampton it's about something that they need information about, but at the same time it's actually a really moving piece of theatre, and I think that's really important. That although there is a very clear agenda behind doing the piece of theatre, it's also in its own terms a really moving, thought-provoking piece of work, so it does both.
Arthur's journey really represents many people's journey, in the sense that, you know, he really is the unspoken voice of someone trying to find their voice. And we decided quite early on in rehearsals to make him quite shy and quite timid, and deliberately so. Where's reception? I want to go home! I think one of the hardest things for me, as you know, as Mark, as an actor, was that there were an awful lot of similarities, and there are a lot of similarities to Arthur and myself, in that, yes, I have a voice, yes, I'm employed as an actor.
You're going to have to learn sooner or later that the world doesn't care. I too had to find my independence, I too had to leave home, I too had to face the bureaucracy that goes with that, really. So an awful lot of especially the big monologues about his early life and about him finding his independence at the end came from my own life experience, really.
I'm actually trained as an artist and not a set designer, and my main brief was to make it wow, and I decided to set it in the 1950s, as it's one of the wowish kind of periods, really, and it's very bright, and I wanted the set to work without any additional lighting.
You'll be heard, I will listen, you can do this, imagine what could be.
Using theatre to promote messages like this is probably one of the best ways. because theatre speaks all languages. And that's been one of the challenges we've had, is that our audiences are of very mixed abilities. So it's been about ensuring that people can access it on as many different levels as possible that are appropriate for them.
In fact, if you go back 100 years, there is a legacy of relationship between the arts and social welfare. And we just thought about how we might bring that up to date for the 21st century. We talk about cultural change, and we saw the play as being part of our cultural change process towards transforming adult social care services. Sometimes we talk about changing people's hearts and minds, but what we do is we give them lots of information that appeals to their minds. We wanted to find a way that really touched people's hearts, and I think theatre and drama was a good way of doing that.
One of the parts of the play that I found particularly moving was when Arthur, the main character, finally feels confident enough to make his own plan, and he's looking at different pictures and deciding what kind of pathway he might choose for the rest of his life. And I found that really moving, actually, really poignant, after he'd struggled with finding the self-confidence to actually do it. I think that's a really good example of where the play is combining a real human story with very clear educational purpose about how you might go about using SDS. So actually it works best when the two things are absolutely combined.
I liked how Anna did it with the drawings. For some people, but people with learning difficulties, to see a drawing on how it's all planned out, then that makes it a lot easier for them to understand, doesn't it, really?
I think that Into the Light has really delivered what we wanted. It's telling the story of Northamptonshire people in their own words. We're using professional and amateur actors, people from Northamptonshire, disabled people and non-disabled people too.
It's brought a few tears to my eyes as a parent. I'm hoping that some people will realise that, you know, Arthur's speech at the end, we'd like you to spend 24 hours in our shoes. That, you know, I hope some people actually pick up on that.
But you have no idea what it's like to have to rely on someone every day of your life to get you up, get you dressed and get you out. If you could spend just 24 hours in our shoes, you may just begin to realise some of the difficulties that we face on a daily basis.
It makes people laugh, it makes people cry, it makes people think, it challenges their perception, and really it does what it says on the tin. It does all the things we wanted it to do.
I think today has particularly demonstrated that we've got a very, very strong piece of theatre here that makes people think, that people can relate to, and that's more than we could have hoped for, really. I'm gonna make it fun, everybody! I'm gonna